Good afternoon, and thank you for coming. My name is Senator John Albers, and I am here with my colleagues who represent Fulton County today to announce some wonderful legislation that has passed to help out our homeowners. Last year, there was an outcry from those who lived in Fulton County when they got their property tax bills in the mail. This is a long-standing issue we have dealt with in Fulton County, but last year it reached a climax, and we were contacted by the thousands from each one of our constituents, and we wanted to respond and assure we could do something to help them. One of the things that we hold most important down here is assuring that those who we represent are able to live in their homes and have a successful life, and never want them to get taxed out of their home. So we have worked together through the House and the Senate for some great bills that you're going to hear about in a moment to assure that we have capped those at a reasonable rate and that together we can ensure responsible government that is best and most transparent to its citizens. So at this time, I'd like to introduce you to my colleague. She is the Speaker Pro Tem of the Georgia House of Representatives, Representative Jan Jones.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Senator Albers, and thank you for being here. So we work together as a team, the entire North Fulton delegation, regardless of where we live, to make sure that every citizen in North Fulton will be able to have predictability and affordability with regard to their property taxes. Currently, your Fulton County taxes pertaining solely to the county have a homestead exemption that floats, and it essentially freezes the amount that your reassessment can go up as long as you own your home. Sandy Springs also has that. With the addition of these 6 bills, our school board taxes and the other cities in North Fulton will also have the same homestead exemption, with one caveat. Our constituents and voters need to show up in November and vote affirmatively for the homestead exemption. And as I said before, it was a team effort. Every one of us were committed to it, regardless of which body, House or Senate we were in. We were unified in our quest to give our homeowners a more affordable way to live in what we think is one of the greatest places in Georgia to call home. And with that, we would be happy, I think, to take questions.
There's been some concern from some of the other folks about the base year of that cap. Can you talk a little bit about the 2016, 17, 18 choosing that lowest number as the base year, and with the assessment discrepancies, why that's the right choice?
Yes, I'm going to let, if you don't mind, Representative Martin, who worked very particularly on the language, which we do think is appropriate. And I would just like to add one thing. The Fulton County School Board voted unanimously in support of this measure, and they believe that it is an appropriate action to take so that their constituents as well can afford to live in their homes, and it also supports a quality school system, which we all enjoy.
Thank you for the question. I don't know who those folks are, but if it's the people of the city or the counties, again, the Fulton County Board of Education deserves a lot of credit in realizing that the homeowners in Fulton County need that residential dividend, that people that live here have supported our communities for years. But specifically to your question, the reason we went with 16, 17, and 18 is because there's been such a diversity, quite frankly, an all over the board place. We're letting the homeowner take the lowest of those base years, but something to remember, we are taking that base year and then adding the known CPI increases. So we're assuming you selected a 2016 base year, and then we're adding the CPI increase to go from 2016 to 17, 2017 to 18, and then the one when it goes into place and we hope the voters will approve it next year, they would be able to add that again. So the county Board of Education and all the cities are going to get to realize their inflationary increase, if you will, on that base year. But we felt it was very important to give the homeowner the opportunity, since the appraisals had been all over the place, to choose that lowest base year of 16, 17, and 18. So we thought it was a fair outcome and compromise.
So if they choose 16, then it would be 16 plus CPI plus CPI.
If they choose any of them, it will be plus CPI plus, and that's actually defined in the bill. We knew what those two were, so we compounded those according to the data we got from the U.S. Economic Group. I don't remember the specific website, but that was a known number. So regardless of what year you're taking, you're getting the lowest year, so we're applying CPI between 16 and 17 and 17 and 18. It's very fair to the school system because, again, nobody up here, while we want to be fair to our taxpayers, it's very important, I think, to all of us. We're not driving the school system or any of our cities off a fiscal cliff. This has been done in the county since, I think, 2005. This is good for our homeowners and taxpayers, and it'll be good for our governments as well.
What is the difference for the schools compared to what it is right now that they would receive?
You want to go ahead? I mean,
Today, the schools would get whatever the increase of the property tax value is based on their portion. So this will limit that to no more than 3% or CPI, whichever is lower. Just like all of us, our paychecks aren't going up 20, 50, 100%, but 3% is a reasonable amount that people can plan for, both from the homeowner as well as the school system for their budgeting purposes.
Let me add that the homestead exemption, just for clarification, does not apply to commercial. And so in the metropolitan area, we do have a higher than average commercial base compared to the rest of the state. And so that would be exempt from this homestead exemption. And so when you ask how much will they realize or what will the difference, it'll depend on how fast property values go up, because all commercial will not pertain to commercial. It also, every time a homeowner sells their home or a new property is constructed, it goes to market rate. So there's a continual renewal, just as there is with all homestead exemptions. They turn over and then it would go back to market rate.
Any other questions?
So in between now and November, when this referendum would be held, the county will issue new assessments, I guess, and it will be based on what?
So the 18 will not be affected by this homestead exemption. That was actually impossible for us to affect. We wanted to, but general law requires that homesteads be applied for by April 1, I believe it is.
That's right.
And which we couldn't have a referendum before April 1. So it will not, alas, it will not pertain to the 18 taxes. It will begin in 19. But in the long run, we didn't let that get in the way, because long term this is still very important.
So people could get a glimpse of
They could.
what will happen
They will.
if
They
the
may.
referendum fails.
They may get a, that is, in fact, that is true.
It would be a real incentive of them, when they get their tax bill this year,
Right.
to vote for this referendum.
Right. One thing that sort of delayed us, and really we've been meeting for months, working on this, just with one idea in mind: how do we protect our homeowners? And we tried in every way we could to figure out a way to address the 18 taxes, but because we just flat couldn't, because you had to have had a referendum, pass a bill, and had a referendum backing up for absentees and all of that before April 1. And so there is a gap here.
But if the referendum passes for 19,
For 19.
it'll go back to that base
It'll
year,
go back to
16, 17, or 18.
That's right.
whichever is the lowest. That's right.
In theory, a one
That's right.
One time.
That's right.
That's right.
And to be clear, if I can add, not to get down too far in the weeds and the details. Representative Jones, Pro Tem, tells me sometimes I get too far down in the details, but not to get into the details of this. But these 16, 17, or 18 all include your value after appeal. So if there's an opportunity that somebody has an assessment for one reason, and they even appeal in an 18 and get a lower value, they'll be able to take advantage of it. The other thing that's very clear, we were very careful, and with Legislative Council worked on this, that There had been cases where these freezes had been in place before, and the county or the jurisdiction had taken in that you put a porch on or a deck on your house, and therefore you lost your freeze. We made it very clear that your freeze stayed in place, and the addition you made to your property goes on at market rate, and then that moves up too, but it is also frozen. So you can improve your property, which I think everybody would want to be able to do. You can improve your property without having the peril of losing your frozen valuation. And again, that valuation would be added, and then it would go up at CPI or 3%, whichever is less. So that gives our people some more opportunity. Only the addition would be valued at market value. The freeze would stay on the property. Yes.
Okay, if there are no further questions, we're going to wrap it up. We want to thank you for coming. Today is a great day for North Fulton County. Members of the Georgia Senate and Georgia House of Representatives came together and helped the people of Georgia, helped our communities and our schools by having a wonderful balanced approach. And ultimately, it'll be their decision this November to help us assure that they never get taxed out of their home, and we have a great opportunity to have North Fulton flourish and be the leader in the state. Thank you and have a great day.